What do I do for the intro? What do I do? What do I do for the intro? You want to build this? Huh? You want to build this? Huh? Are you looking at your Gunpla and thinking that they're lame and they don't look like this? Huh? You want to cell shade your Gunpla like this? Huh? Well, this is the video for you. So for those that don't know me, my name is I Like Gunpla. All I do is I build Gunpla, I cell shade them, and then I find ways to do really cool stuff with them. A lot of what I get requested is how to cell shade my Gunpla. So this, basically what I do with my kits, where I make them look very anime-esque and I shadow them in a way where they really pop when they're on your stands. So the question of today is, how do you get your Gunpla to go from looking like this, where it's right out of the box, it still looks good, don't get me wrong, to looking something a little bit more like this. This is my high grade, to going into to looking a little something more like this. This is my high grade Barbados Lupus Rex, and out of the box, I promise it didn't look like this. So today, we're gonna talk about the tools you'll need and the steps you take to identify what tools you wanna use and what tools I use. Today, we have 3 categories: tools for the beginner, tools for the intermediate, and tools for the advanced. There's not necessarily a way to rank where you're at. It's mostly just so where you're more comfortable, and I base it off of the learning curve of the actual tool. All right, so let's look at the beginner tools. Starting off, and I really think this is a beginner tool, you have your acrylic markers. Now, I mostly use acrylic paints, so in everything you see here, it'll be acrylic based. So a couple recommendations. If you're gonna start off with markers, you can go to Hobby Lobby and get these for $10. These are pretty good. You can go and get a Posca marker. Posca markers were great. I'll talk about the pros and cons of each of these as well. AK Interactive is a great set of tools too. And the last markers I've used is Artix markers. These are also pretty good. What are the benefits of using paint pens? Your first benefit is out of the box, you can apply this onto your Gunpla. Some paint pens work better than others, right? Some you'll apply and you'll have to apply multiple coats on. Some work better if you sand down the piece. That's why I recommended the ones I recommended in this video. I'm not sponsored by anything, but the ones I've used, you can apply directly on the plastic. Eventually, I'll go over my entire process for putting the paint on the Gunpla. Today, we're just talking about tools. What are the cons? The cons are you only get 2 kinds of lines when it comes to paintbrushes. And as you get more advanced in cell shading, you wanna be able to do multiple shapes, right? So I'm gonna do a couple lines and I'll show you guys what I mean. When it comes to the actual pens or acrylic paintbrushes and stuff, these are the kind of shapes and lines you can expect out of them. Obviously, different tips give you different kinds of line control. But when you use a pen, you only get one size line. Granted, you can add more to the actual line and make it like bigger and stuff like that. But a big part about cell shading is making it look hand-drawn. And for those that have actually drawn manga before, when your lines have different variations of sizes, your art just comes out better, you know? Because when you have multiple lines of the same size, it kind of makes the piece look a little bit flat. You can't really control the paint that comes out of the acrylic paintbrush. It just comes out of the tip however it does. So you're stuck with whatever it comes. If the paint is thin, it's thin. If it's thick, it's thick. If it's too loose and it's spilling out everywhere, you're just stuck with that, you know? So while you do gain a lot of control and a single type of line, and they're very convenient and they make your work go fast, you're stuck with whatever you have. So next we have the intermediate circle. For intermediates, I'd actually recommend picking up paintbrushes. Why paintbrushes? Well, they're more flexible on things. Yes, they're a bit of a steep learning curve, but once you get comfortable with at least one paintbrush, you can kind of expand on your artwork a lot more. I think the other benefit of using paintbrushes is you can use any kind of paint and make anything look good. My most expensive paints are Vallejo paints, and my cheapest paints are Apple Barrel. And I will tell you right now, there is no difference in both. Granted, if I was painting the whole piece, there would be a big difference. Vallejo would definitely beat it out. But for the shading that I'm doing and the small details that I'm doing, both work exactly the same. You don't need to spend $4 on a piece of paint. You can spend 50 cents on an Apple Barrel kit and you'll be fine. So when it comes to paintbrushes, get really good at one of these, either a round brush or a liner. I prefer the liner, even though it takes a little bit more effort. It gives you that flow sense, right? So when you're drawing manga and you kind of do the hair, you kind of flick it up and stuff. or you do that S curve or whatever, this gives you that better shape. I can do that right now. Hold on, give me a. So for paintbrushes, you get these kind of effects. Way less line variation, sure, that I did the other ones because I was using different ones. But you can easily, with any kind of paintbrush, do any kind of line shape you want. So I highly, highly recommend for intermediates learning to use paintbrushes. And finally, we have the advanced. For advanced users, I actually recommend doing both. Advanced users will actually use both. And they do this because not only does it help quicken the thing, both have their uses, you know? And even as an intermediate, you can use both. It's just knowing when to use what tool that matters. So paintbrushes, very great for lining, very great for detailing. Not so great for cell shading an entire area, you know? Like if you wanna make a big old highlight or a big ass shadow, what's gonna be your best bet? Probably the marker. While we're also here, most of the time when you're intermediate, you'll wash your paints down with water. I highly, highly recommend getting a reducer or some sort of paint thinner because it helps you control how much paint goes on your kit. And once you find your favorite ratios, like I like a 1-to-1 reducer, it sticks on the kit a lot better. You also then have to decide, do you want to use a top coat first? Do you want to sand your pieces first? And with that comes top coats. I use Mr. Super Clear. I find these at Hobby Lobby for $11 each. I love these. And I personally put a top coat at the end, which makes it so the paint's easy to fix and stuff. So those are the layers. Let's go over some more tools that will help you with your actual kit, just to make life a little bit easier. One would be a metallic acrylic markers. Sometimes a very good metallic base will shade really, really, really well when you panel line these kits, and it just looks really, really nice in the end. A good old toothpick or a cotton swab will also help you out a lot. Cotton swab's great for cleaning up, great for mixing up the paint a little bit if you want to weather your kit a little bit. And then toothpicks are really good for drawing in small details that you can't get and you want something sturdy, or when the paint dries, chipping away at the paint. Now, caution, if you top coat your kit first, you cannot scratch off the paint that easy. You will ruin your kit. So I only recommend toothpicks for cleaning up if you do not use a top coat first, like I do. Gloves are also a great way a great tool to use. They keep stains away from your kits and they keep the oil away from your kits. When your kits get oily, it gets very hard to add paint to them, or the paint just won't stay on as well. I have a short first video today. I really just wanted to go over the tools that I use and the tools that a beginner and an intermediate and advanced person might want to use. They all have their pros and cons. An honorable mention is one of these guys. So this is a paint pen, but it's more of a brush where you can control the paint. So if you like paint pens, if you like the way they feel, one of these is a great option because you can control the paint, you can control the consistency, but you still get that like sharpness out of the brush, you know? Other than that, guys, thank you for joining me for my first video. This next video that I make, I'm actually gonna go over shadowing and where I put shadows. After that, I'll do shapes, like what kind of shapes I use. They won't go after the lining, dry times, all that stuff. So stay tuned, subscribe for more, and if you have any ideas, let me know down in the comments. All right, bye.